Hello and welcome to a look at my picks for the best deals of the Steam Winter Sale 2023. As always, the games will be split into three categories: games under £5, games under £10, and games over £10, and prices will be listed in dollars and euros too. So, without any further ado, let's jump in with games under £5. The first game for today is actually two games, and what a pair of absolute classics they are, as we have the Portal Bundle. This bundle nets you both the original Portal and Portal 2, which both still stand up today as among the finest puzzle games ever made. For me, the Portal games perfectly struck the balance between not being so easy that I didn't feel clever when I figured out the solution, while also not being so hard that I got stuck for hours. Well, not very often. So if you're looking to test your grey matter a little over the holidays, at just £1.28 or $1.48, you can't go wrong with the Portal Bundle. Next, onto something a bit more chaotic, as we come to Unrailed. Now this one is best played with friends, and tasks you with guiding a train through tricky terrain, collecting resources, putting out fires, and upgrading your carriages, all with the aim of stopping the train from reaching the end of the track, because if it does, that's game over. Now, with friends, this is one of those games where you'll start off nice and organised, but before long you'll be frantically yelling instructions and trying to get it all together in time to lay that vital next piece of track. Unrailed makes a great party game with family or friends and is on sale for £4.24 or $4.99. And sticking with the chaos, but this time in a single player setting, we have Just Cause 3. This action-packed, explosion-driven blast of a game offers an insane amount of content for its price tag. I know Just Cause 3 is fairly old at this stage and Just Cause 4 is out, but to me Just Cause 3 is a far better game, and if you're looking for potentially dozens of hours of content for an absolutely bargain price, at just £1.79 or $2.99, Just Cause 3 might be the game for you. Now we come to something more calming in the form of A Short Hike. This charming little exploration game has you run, jump and glide your way around a picturesque park, completing tasks, upgrading your movement abilities with golden feathers that let you reach new places, and just taking in the relaxing beauty of this game. Now, this is a fairly short experience, so if you're looking for maximum time from your money, you may want to look elsewhere. But coming in at £3.18 or $4.39, in my opinion, A Short Hike is more than worth it. Next is Pony Island, which offers a mind-bending meta-horror puzzle experience. Wow, that was a lot of descriptors. Honestly, there's not too much I can say about this one without spoiling it, because it really should be experienced firsthand, but if you're looking for a smart game that will have you questioning just what on earth is even going on, then Pony Island is a great pick. And with Pony Island 2 having just been announced, and the tiny price on offer here of 64 pence or 74 cents, now is a great time to pick this one up. The Council is next, a deep and mysterious game where your choices matter. The Council has you playing as Louis de Richet, definitely pronounced it right, among some of the most powerful people in world history, and aside from what I found to be a very enjoyable game, it's pretty cool to see people like Napoleon and George Washington rubbing shoulders. Again, since this is a very narrative-driven game, there's not too much I can say without spoiling things here, but the good news is that the Council lets you play Episode 1 completely for free to see if it's your kind of thing. After that, the Council is on sale for £2.59 or $2.99. On now to Snake Pass, a unique 3D platformer that sees you controlling Noodle the Snake as you weave your way through challenging assault course-like levels. The movement really is the unique selling point of Snake Pass, as controlling a snake, even moving normally through the level can be challenging until you get into a slithery rhythm. However, it does also open up several opportunities, with Noodle being able to climb and weave through obstacles. Snake Pass might not be the most in-depth game ever, but it's a fun time, and it's available for just £2.39 or $2.99. Now we come to one of my all-time favourite games in the form of Xcom 2. This turn-based tactics game sees you take command of a guerrilla force trying to liberate Earth from its alien occupation. The battles here are intense, as one wrong move can lead to the loss of a soldier you've built up for hours, with cosmetic customization and powerful upgrades to help them in the field. Now, you could go for the XCOM 2 Collection Bundle, which contains the excellent War of the Chosen expansion, but it's significantly more expensive, so if you're just looking to dip your toes into these tactical waters, at just £3.49 or $5.99, XCOM 2 is a steal. From careful tactical combat, we move on now to something a little bit more chaotic, as we come to Stick Fight, the game. This one is a very basic concept, but ends up being a great time with friends. Stick Fight offers a wide array of maps, each with their own obstacles and interesting weapon pickups, and drops you and your opponents onto it, with the last one standing winning the round. The beauty here is that there's almost no downtime between rounds, so it gives everyone more of a chance to get that winning feeling. Stick Fight is on sale for £1.59 or $1.99. Next up is the cheapest game on today's list, and it's The Room. This fiendishly intricate puzzler sees you trying to crack your way through increasingly difficult challenges, and you'll have to be aware of everything in your surroundings if you're going to succeed. This is one of those games that can totally stump you, but when the solution finally presents itself, you'll feel like an absolute genius. And coming in at just 60p or 69 cents, The Room is well worth a look. For those of you looking for something a bit darker from the Steam Winter Sale, well, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice might be the game for you. Hellblade offers a deep and disturbing glimpse into the mind and psychosis of our protagonist Senua as she makes her journey. This is still an absolutely stunning game, and I don't think I've ever been quite so creeped out by a game as I am by Hellblade, as the voices in Senua's head whisper in our ears like they're actually talking to us. Definitely a game best played with headphones, by the way. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is available for just £3.74 or $4.49. Almost at the end of this section now as we come to our penultimate game, and something quite a bit lighter, and it's Golf It. This mini golf game offers quite literally thousands of courses thanks to its Steam Workshop integration, and while it's best played with friends, it's still a good time in single player. Now, some people might be put off by the slightly inconsistent controls here, and if that's you, you may be better off going with Golf with Friends. But for me, I don't play this as a highly competitive game, and throwing in that little bit of potential for totally messing up a shot makes things that much more fun. And for just £2.99 or $4.49, Golf It is well worth picking up. And finally for this section, we have a regular on these lists, and it's Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. I just love how this game lets you choose how you want to approach each situation. Of course, things can be resolved by going in ham-fisted with guns drawn, but hey, maybe sneaking around might be a better option, or even just convincing your would-be enemies to see things your way, and the augmentations you get throughout the game allow you to tailor the game to your playstyle. The world here too is beautiful and intriguing, with plenty of secrets to find and areas that the completionist in you will want to explore. Deus Ex: Human Revolution would be a good pick too, but I feel Mankind Divided is a fine way for newcomers to jump in, while Human Revolution feels a tiny bit dated, even though it's still a great game. Deus Ex: Mankind Divided is on sale for £3.74 or $4.49. So, first up in our under £10 category is Valheim, a Viking survival crafting game that sees you explore new and threatening biomes, build your base, and fight ever more dangerous enemies. I think what really sucked me into Valheim was the sense of constant progression. You're always upgrading your armor and weapons and exploring new places, and eventually that massive enemy who seemed like such a threat in the early game becomes a total chump compared to your Scandinavian might. This one is great in both single and multiplayer, and despite being in early access, already offers an experience more than worth its £9.29 or $11.99 price tag. Next is my favourite game of all time, The Witcher 3, and in this case it's the Complete Edition. The Witcher 3 offers a huge RPG set in a living world for you to explore, with quests and monsters around every corner. And even though you'll probably get distracted by side quests or just Gwent for hours upon hours, the main storyline when you come back to it is gripping. Several quests have multiple endings, so your actions matter, and the Complete Edition comes with the Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine expansions, which each add a ton of content to the game for very little extra cost. Honestly, if you haven't played The Witcher 3 yet, I'm jealous, because you've got a hell of a game ahead of you, and for just £8.74 or $12.49, it's an absolute bargain. Ozymandias is next, which is kind of a bite-sized 4X game. Yes, you'll build your empire, research tech, expand your armies, and battle rivals, but everything here is simplified, and a full game can be played in just an hour or two. Now, while simplification in a game like this might sound a bit odd, most people play 4X games for an in-depth experience, there's still a surprising amount of strategy and complexity to the decisions you'll make, and with randomized victory conditions, you'll have to adapt and decide how you want to win every game. Ozymandias comes in at £6.59 or $8.24. On now to Astroneer, a game that appeals to me for much the same reasons as Valheim earlier on this list did, except this time it's in space. Yes, you get to build your base and research new techs, all pushing you forward and advancing your capabilities, but there's a lesser focus on enemies here, and more on travel and exploration. Astroneer lets you build vehicles to cover large distances, but also rocket off to other planets and bring home their resources. The first time landing on a planet is always magical for me in this game, as you don't quite know what you're going to find, and not having the comfort of your base right there to run away to if things go wrong ratchets up the tension. So if you think a stylish space adventure might be your kind of thing, at just £9.99 or $11.99, Astroneer might be for you. Next we have Middle-earth: The Shadow Bundle, which nets you both the original Shadow of Mordor and the much larger in scope successor, Shadow of War. These games offer tight stealth gameplay, responsive Arkham-style combat, and the biggest selling point of all, the Nemesis system, which sees individual orcs have their own personalities, leading to individual rivalries and backstories. You can also influence which orcs rise to the top and install your own followers in the hierarchy, taking out their opponents and helping them gain strength. Now, you could buy just one of these games and save some money, and for me I'd choose Shadow of Mordor. It's cheaper and has a more focused experience, but at just £8.99 or $10.49, I think this bundle is the way to go, as you get a load more content at a still very good price. Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition is up next, and offers one of the very best turn-based RPG experiences you can have. There are so many quests, spells, and ways to play that you'll be engrossed for dozens of hours. And of course, as I always say, if during a battle everything isn't on fire, you're doing it wrong. Now, personally, I think this one is best played with friends, but of course it's incredibly fun in single player too, and there's even a Game Master mode to help you make your own campaigns with if you just can't get enough. Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition is on sale for £8.99 or $13.49. Moving on, we have Monster Hunter World. Using a massive array of weaponry, you'll be tasked with tracking and fighting enormous beasts, each of which have their own movesets and weaknesses, and figuring these out is crucial to giving you the edge in combat. And defeating these monsters will give you materials to craft new armor and weapons, which means you're constantly getting more powerful and building your way up to taking on bigger fights. There's so much to do here, and if you get hooked, you could be playing for hundreds of hours. Now, Monster Hunter Rise is on sale too, but personally I clicked far more with World, and for just £8.24 or $9.89, I think it's worth a look. Up next is It Takes Two, a co-op game where the players have to try and get our characters, struggling married couple Cody and May, back to full size, by working together to overcome interesting and innovative challenges. I just love the design of this game, and there's always some new mechanic to keep things fresh. Plus, with Friend Pass, only one player actually needs to own the game in order to play co-op. So for just £8.74 or $9.99, I highly recommend It Takes Two. Nearing the end of this section, and I've gone for Disco Elysium: The Final Cut, a deep RPG that has you play as a detective with amnesia in a thoroughly engrossing world. You can take this detective and make him a hero of justice out to make people's lives better, or an utterly terrible person. That's up to you. Thankfully, The Final Cut is fully voice acted, because otherwise there would be a heck of a lot of reading here, but the story, world, and characters are so expertly executed that it would still frankly be more than worth it. There is quite a bit of RNG here to be aware of, so if you've got a low tolerance for that kind of thing, then maybe you should look elsewhere, but for my money, Disco Elysium is phenomenal, and for just £8.74 or $9.99, it's a steal. And finally for this category, I've picked Solasta, Crown of the Magister. This D&D RPG sees you control a party of characters through turn-based battles across a diverse and often dark world. Now, as you'd expect from a D&D style game, there's a lot of choice here. Who to help, who to attack, stealth, talking your way out of it, and a huge amount of options for how to kit out each of your characters with armor, weapons, skills, spells, what languages they can speak. My point is, there's a lot here. Now, I'm currently playing through Solasta for the second time with some friends, and while I'd say I personally prefer Divinity, I'm still having a blast with Solasta. And if you're looking for something closer to a true D&D game without spending big on Baldur's Gate, then at £7.49 or $8.99, Solasta, Crown of the Magister might be for you. And first up in the over £10 category, we have the Arkane 20th Anniversary Bundle. This bundle bags you not only the excellent Dishonored Definitive Edition and Prey, which are my two favourite games from this bundle and more than worth the price tag on their own, but also Dishonored 2, Dishonored Death of the Outsider, Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, and Arx Fatalis. The footage you're seeing here is from Dishonored, which offers excellent stealth gameplay with interesting abilities to help you achieve your goals, and a chaos system that incentivizes not just going through and killing everybody in the mission. Meanwhile, Prey puts you aboard the Talos 1, a space station that has been infested with typhons, such as the Mimic that can shapeshift into mundane objects, meaning even when it's just you and a coffee cup in a room, you never truly feel safe, lending the game a dark and tense atmosphere. As I said, those two are my favourite from the bundle, so I'll leave it there, as I could be here talking all day at this rate. But at just £12.08, or $15.59, the Arkane 20th Anniversary Bundle is one heck of a deal. Next up is Return of the Obra Dinn, and this one sees us exploring an old ship that was lost at sea. Our task is to figure out what happened to each and every person aboard the ship, who they were, and how they met their end. We do this through a series of flashbacks, and you'll have to be observant to pick up on the small clues that indicate what might have happened, as this isn't a game that will outright give you the answer. It's not a very original observation I'm about to make here, but Return of the Obra Dinn makes you feel smart, and the enjoyment from figuring things out for yourself makes this a truly satisfying game. Return of the Obra Dinn is on sale for £11.22 or $13.39. Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord is our most expensive game on today's list, but offers so much for your money. Setting out in the world, you'll have to build your way up, gathering your army, completing quests for lords across the land, battling raiders and enemy forces, and in the end, making your fortune. Bannerlord is an excellent successor to the likes of Warband and With Fire and Sword, updating the graphics and systems to something much more modern and accessible to newcomers. And if you're looking for a sense of progression and building up your legacy in a game from this sale, at £25.79 or $29.99, Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord might be what you're looking for. On to something more action-packed, we have Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection. This package includes Uncharted The Lost Legacy, as well as the fantastic Uncharted 4 A Thief's End. Now for me, Uncharted 4 is the main attraction here, and is a globe-trotting adventure crammed with gorgeous graphics, non-stop action, and tight combat, and the hunt for pirate treasure was more than enough to keep me hooked. Plus, a main character with the same name as me is always going to get bonus points in my eyes. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection is on sale for £19.99 or $24.99. Almost at the end now, and thank you for sticking with me all this time. Maybe hit that like and subscribe button, I'd be very grateful. Anyway, we're on to the Yakuza Bundle, which includes Yakuza 0, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2. Now, the Yakuza games always look like tough, gritty brawlers based around organised crime, and on the surface you'd be right in thinking that, but scratch a little deeper and you find a wacky world filled with silly side quests like protecting singers from zombies as they film music videos, and activities like the superb karaoke, from which we get some just incredible scenes. Now, if you're willing to splash the cash, you could go for the Yakuza Collection, which has 4 more games in it. But I think at £14.40 or $17.99, the Yakuza Bundle is the sweet spot for getting into the series. And finishing off this sale, we have Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5 is a superb RPG, blending the fairly mundane world of a school kid just looking to make friends and pass his exams in a world that has beaten him down, with the distorted metaverse that contains the twisted desires of corrupted people's hearts. The beauty of having this mix is that it gives you downtime between the action, and with the metaverse being the location for our fights, Persona 5 is able to have crazy designs and brilliantly bombastic enemies. The Royal version of the game adds even more content to what was already a huge game, and makes it easily worth its £24.99 or $29.99 price tag. And hey, if you want to see a little more from this one before you buy, I have a video which I'll link up in the cards, though it is a tiny bit spoilery, so watch at your own risk. Anyway, that's about it for the Steam Winter Sale 2023. Of course, I couldn't fit every great deal into this list, and even if I could, well, I haven't played every game out there, so now is where I ask for your help. If you've got any great recommendations, share them down in the comments so that everyone can find the best games for them at a bargain. I love to see people helping each other out in these videos, and you're not stepping on my toes by saying, he missed blah blah insert game here. I'm totally cool with it. Anyway, with all that said, thank you so much for watching. Whatever you're doing over the holidays, I hope you have a fantastic time, and I will see you next time.